It was only about, what, 10, 15 seconds. I literally stopped, turned to Rachel, talked to her for just a little bit, and then I hear him coming back. You know, he got right up the nose, I think, and he was doing the.
Must have tasted
Oh
bad.
God, I bet it was horrible.
We're going to do another round of washing on Thor. He decided to take a little trip last night in the back of the RV about 10 feet and met up with a very stinky cat with very bad cologne. That was a skunk. We did try the first method with the vinegar and the soap, and it did lessen the smell a lot.
But yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Now once you get about a foot away, then you're like,
ooh, what is, ooh, yeah, still a little ripe. So we're gonna do round 2, and these are the ingredients that we're going to use.
Thor got sprayed by a skunk at about 1:30 in the morning. We immediately then started doing some home remedies to try and get the smell off, and they worked out really well. But that gave us an idea. Like, what kind of things do you do to make traveling with the dog good for you and for the dog? We came up with 4 things that useful to know.
So the first thing is grooming and care with your pet. With Thor, we have a golden retriever, and he gets a lot of hair. He is a breed of dog that sheds a whole lot, so grooming is very important for him and his skin. We have a travel tote that has all of his supplies, and we keep them ready in the pantry, and it's very easily accessible for my husband and myself to make sure it's on hand for his daily grooms. Sorry, some people are having a good time in the background. There for his grooming needs, and also, you know, just to help keep him clean. We personally have to trim his nails once a week, so we do have nail clippers, and we do have, what are they?
We have
clippers?
two different types of shears. One we use, it's a smaller one, just to get in between his paws. If we don't do that, I mean, he can have infection build up really easily. He gets dirt trapped in there. He looks like like the Grinch, you know, as far as the amount of hair that grows out there. And then we have some actual, you know, industrial type hair trimmers that we use, especially here in Texas, just to help them with the temperature a little bit. Some people believe that the coat actually keeps them cooler because it insulates them, and some, you know, ways that's true. But with his skin conditions and everything, we need to be able to see any spots develop and take care of them right away, just because he's had a couple of major infections that were unnoticed.
So our main point is to make sure that you have the grooming supplies necessary for the coat of your particular dog, whether it's a short hair or long hair, and to be able to get their nails done as well, because you may not always have access to a groomer when you're full-timing and you're traveling.
Numero dos, skunks.
Oh, big topic there.
So the stuff we used for him, that Rachel, you know, I was trying to coordinate Thor last night while she ran in and grabbed her phone, started doing research and using what we had.
The first one we used was recommended by the Humane Society, and that was either white distilled vinegar or apple cider vinegar. We had apple cider vinegar on hand, and we used soap, and we scrubbed the heck out of him, and we let it set for a few minutes. Now I'm talking saturate his fur, and it did. The next morning we noticed it helped quite a bit.
Yeah, the next morning, I mean, you could still smell it if you got close, you know, within a foot or two, but getting to it early right away, and then having something to neutralize the smell a little bit and break those proteins up.
Yes.
And then next morning, Rachel found another. Was it from the Humane Society?
It was. I don't think it was a Humane Society, but it was another, you know, dog website, and it was saying that you should take hydrogen peroxide, a cup of baking soda, and then it said Dawn dish detergent, but his skin can't handle that, so we just used his regular shampoo. Yeah. We made a concoction of it, and we saturated the fur once again and just let it set for 5 minutes. And this time, after completely thoroughly rinsing it off, letting him dry, it helped immensely.
So we did so good neutralizing the smell. I can tell you exactly right where he got sprayed.
Yes.
And he got it right up the nose. The reason being is we couldn't smell anything. Of course he was, and when he exhaled through his nose to blow out some of the water and stuff, that's when I could smell skunk. So he got it pull out right in the face, right up the nostrils.
Yeah, so the main thing if for cats or, you know, a dog that you have, make sure you keep some vinegar, baking soda, and soap on hand so that you can quickly get the taking care of the problem, because this happened in the middle of the night. No stores are open.
Yeah. And Rachel saved the day by finding those 2 different ways of doing it, because he's just like normal sitting next to us right now.
Yeah.
Number 3, behavior in the RV.
Chris has worked a lot with Thor, and he's a very well-behaved dog. We don't have hardly any problems on the road with him, but we see a lot of other RVers who really struggle with their dog when they're out full timing. But Chris has some tips that can potentially help you out and be a safety issue for yourself and your dog.
Proper grooming goes along with that. If they're happier, they're feeling better and everything, they're taken care of. Usually that'll help quite a bit. Walks, they say the best dog is a tired dog. They want energy and they want to get out and about just like we do. So take them on walks, let them sniff around, let them explore, let them have some outside, interaction instead of just stuck in a cage. Proper training is good for you as well too. It builds that bond between you and the dog. And we'll have some videos. Thor's really good as far as, if I tell him to go to his bed, he'll go to his bed. If I tell him to sit, lay, and I can be 30, 40 feet away from him, and, he'll mind, as far as staying in his location, or spin right, spin left, high five, all those other things are kind of cool. But the main things, as far as manners go, why? Because he's a big animal. And, just like people, you got to act a certain way, to function well in society. The same happens with your pets.
So when you have your pet in the campgrounds, you're expected to keep your pet on a leash, under control at all times, and that's for your pet's safety as well as everyone else around you. So having a few simple commands that Chris is going to be telling you about.
Yeah, Thor was not under control last night. So,
no, that was an emergency situation. That was a little different. But yeah, regardless of that circumstance, he acted way better than any other dog that I know would have. But yeah, having some few simple commands at an absolute minimum that the dog readily knows how to do is essential.
Yeah. The last one is vet visits, and it can be kind of difficult when you're traveling around and going to different vets.
Because a vet is just like any other doctor's offices. They have a set schedule for the day, and lots of times they're full with their own clients, and it's hard to get in if your pet has something that it needs to be seen for, whether it's routine or emergency. The best recommendations that we have is make sure that your pet's vaccinations are up to date for when you get into the park, and you keep a hold of that paper in those tags to make sure you can prove that. You can definitely make sure that your pet has a health certificate once a year for crossing state lines to prove that your pet, is free from diseases on that. One thing I'm gonna have to say is when you first get to a campground or RV park, look and see where your closest vets would be for an emergency. Sometimes there are not emergency vets like you have in big cities. Like you're just gonna have to wait till Monday when they open up, just because that's the way it is.
Yeah. A lot of them are on call though too sometimes, so even though they may not be open, it might be worth a phone call.
And that way you also know if you would be charged for extra coming in after hours and things like that. So good information to know on that. Make sure that you keep a steady supply of your pet's medications, and if you have a regular vet, make sure that that's in your phone so that you can contact them and be like, hey, I'm out here and I'm out of medications. Could you please send it to this other vet? Because so our dog has some issues, and so every time that we know he needs something, the vet doesn't know what's going on, and so they want a new consultation and they want a new workup of things. We're like, we already know what's wrong with him.
Or they want to try a different medication instead of what has been working. It just depends on the vet you're dealing with.
So keep your paperwork, keep your medications handy, and be an advocate for your pet.
Stay strong.